This is an example of solving a linear equation where there are fractions involved. Often when students see fractions, they'll simply shut down. Does that sound familiar? Well, we're going to get around that by getting rid of the fractions first, and then we'll solve the problem. So we're going to clear those fractions, and the way that we clear fractions is by finding the lowest common denominator of all the fractions that are in the problem. So looking for the fractions, we see we have a 4 in the denominator. Here we have a 3 and there's an implied 1 there, so we don't worry about that. Here's another fraction with a denominator of 2, and this 2 has an implied 1, so we don't worry about that one either. So the next thing we do is we find the lowest common denominator of all of our denominators. So we had a 2 and a 4, and that lowest common denominator is a 4. Now that we have our lowest common denominator, the next step is that we're going to multiply that 4 by every single piece of our equation. So we have 4 times 3x over 4 minus 4 times 3, and notice I'm leaving nothing out here, 4 times x over 2 plus 4 times 2. Now let's go through each of these pieces and we'll simplify. So first let's look at our fractions, and we see here when we multiply a 4 times a 3x over 4, we can cancel out those 4's. And so what's remaining here is 3x minus 4 times 3 is 12 equals, and now here again we can do some canceling. So we've got 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice. Now we multiply 2 times x gives us 2x plus 8. Now we have an equation that looks like it'll be a little bit easier to solve. So we're going to continue on the way that we normally do with linear equations. The first thing we want to do is see if we can combine our variables, and we have them on both sides of our equation. So we're going to just pick one side and we're going to subtract out our variable. And remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do on the other. So let's go ahead and simplify that. We have 3x minus 2x is x minus our 12. 2x minus 2x, everything canceled out, and we're left with our 8. Now let's add that 12 to both sides. And finally, we get x is equal to, 12, there you go. X is equal to 20. And that's it. That is the answer. X is equal to 20. So first step, look across all the fractions, find the common denominator of the fractions, and then multiply every single piece of your equation by that LCD. And then finally continue on and solve as you normally would.